Oh my god, I've been calling for ages today. Probably been my last video for today. When I've been picked up by another servant, I'm dressed in their traditional garb. My outfit resembles that of Lana, though it seems more sparkly. The long skirt I'm wearing doesn't seem to have any pockets, so I just sew my cell phone right into it. I don't want to lose it, even if I can never use it once the battery is completely drained. I'm led to a very large hall with small tables lining to the sides. There are a lot of people around, but I recognize none of them. I don't spy any soldiers, and the trio of siblings are missing as well. The servant guides me to a small table and tells me to sit down. There are empty bowls on the table ready to be used for food. My stomach rumbles in response. I'm so hungry. I haven't eaten all day. I'm surprised I didn't faint from low blood sugar. Oh. God, I'm lacking on taking screenshots lately. Then I spot a familiar face. James walks into the room. He's not wearing his armor this time around, adorned instead in some more relaxed apparel. Immediately, the picture of his naked form pops into my thoughts and I try to shake it away. No, go away, you evil, intrusive thoughts. Our eyes meet across the hall. His face twists into annoyance. I'm the first to break eye contact. It's so awkward looking at him. What am I even doing here? Oh no, he's coming over. With each step he takes, my anxiety rises. Soon enough, he sits down on the empty spot next to me. Of course he has to sit here. It seems you managed to find your way over here in one piece, he drawls out in a bored tone. And it seems you didn't get lost this time either, I reply sarcastically. I'm not afraid to bite back. This time, he snaps back. Neither is he, apparently. Well, you seem to get lost, what? First you couldn't find my room, and then you thought the bath was for men, and... Silence, he cuts me off. You'll sit here and not open your mouth hole for the rest of the evening. Just call it a mouth. Just call it a mouth. We'll see about that, I mutter under my breath. Just sit there in silence and wait for Lord Veritas to arrive. I roll my eyes at him. That Veritas better hurry up, because talking to James only works up my appetite even more. My stomach gurgles loudly once more. It's so loud, even James looks down at me, eyebrows raised and all. Okay, this is really awkward. I can't control the noises my stomach's making. Do you have a living parasite inside of your body? What? No! I deny hastily. That's gross. Then what is making that dreadful noise? I told you to stay quiet. I can't help it. I'm really hungry and I haven't eaten since I got here, I complain. Pathetic. Earthlings really are weak. You act like you're on the brink of starvation simply because you missed a day's worth of food. I'm not going to apologize for being hungry and having a different appetite from you, I reply with as much dignity as I have. The meals will be served once Lord Veritas has arrived. Until then, control your stomach. What if I could? Ah, Princess Valkii. Caleb. I look up and see Caleb walking behind me. He is also not wearing his armor. It feels less intimidating and makes him look more approachable. Hello, I greet him politely. You are looking positively radiant tonight. I presume your trip to the hammam went without any trouble? I didn't expect to be smooth-talked like this, and shyly looked down at my table. My eyes shift over to James, who hasn't said a word. It certainly didn't go by without trouble. It was nice, I answer instead. And just to make a point, I add, the green accents in the room really complemented the view from the night sky. Caleb smiles at me. I'm sure they do, though I haven't witnessed such for myself. The men's hammam have red accents. Captain Caleb, go to your seat. You know this isn't your place. James cuts in with a curt tone. Ha, he's annoyed. If you'll excuse me, princess, he says politely before leaving. Caleb takes a seat across from us instead. I'd much rather have him as my seat buddy. I mumble under my breath. Instead, I'm stuck with this grumpy potato. I wonder if Bilius or Lana will arrive, but I haven't seen either of them. I haven't spotted Eok either, though I'm assuming this banquet is not for grunt soldiers like him. And just like that, the entire room quiets down. Before, it was lively and people were walking about, chatting amongst themselves, but now it's eerily quiet. Even I tense up before I know it. Long flowing hair enters the room. With an elegance to his stride, Veritas slowly makes his way to the very end of the seats. He passes by me and the hairs on my neck stand up straight. I'm getting flashbacks of yesterday, the brutality I witnessed with my own eyes, seeing the blood splatter from James's back, hearing his skin tear open. I've already experienced James killing someone in front of me, but that was quick, to the point, without suffering. It was so fast I barely knew what was going on. But yesterday's flogging was a show, a point to be made. Cruelty. I'm terrified of him more than I have been of James. Once Veritas sits down at the end, the crowd starts back up again. "Let the feast begin!" yells out one of them. Servants start entering the room, carrying golden trays filled with carefully placed food like a gourmet dinner. They're unfamiliar shapes, but it's rich in colour. Reds, greens, yellows. It's making me forget my terror and salivate instead. This looks a lot better than what I've been eating on the spaceship. They start serving everyone in the room. I can't wait till they get to me. Oh, they're not going to serve her. Princess, contain yourself. You're excreting in an unsightly manner. Excuse me? I wipe away the corner of my mouth. Oh, salivating. Okay. But they look so good, I say. I thought all the food was going to be textureless and boring. A smirk pulls at his lips. Careful before you stuff yourself full. Some of these foods may very well kill you. I rein in my enthusiasm. No matter how appetizing the food looks, it's still alien food. I don't know how I'll react to it. My stomach groans in response once my nose picks up the scent of something very delicious. Nope, screw it. I'm stuffing my face into that plate of food. I will take my chances. A servant places down a couple of bowls on my table. I examine each one, curious as to what their food is like. I wrinkle my nose in disgust when I see something that resembles an animal head on one of the plates. It's got a strange long body, looking part snake and part crocodile. It's surrounded by leafy vegetables. It's not very appetizing. I use one of the long prongs to poke it. Its skin feels hard and tough. How do I eat this? I glance over at James, who picks up the end of the snake-like reptile and uses his bare hands to tear off the head, pulling its entire spine with it. I've spontaneously lost my appetite. In fact, I almost want to hurl. I didn't need to see that kind of deboning. James then uses the prong to stab the body and lift it up to his mouth. He effortlessly bites it off with his long canines. I look around the hall. Everyone is eating the same way. To be fair, they all have razor-sharp teeth. Can I even bite into this tough skin with my human teeth? Have you forgotten how to eat? James questions when he sees I haven't touched any of it. I poke the head with the prongs. No, I say, unsure of myself. And why are you not eating? He sounds a little impatient. Well, here goes. Oh, I'm not gonna be able to do it. And he's gonna be like, oh my god, you're so weak. An earthling weakling. Well, here goes. I lift the reptile with my bare hands. It's lukewarm to the touch. With one hand, I grab the head and with the other, the tail. I then try to tear it apart, but the skin is so tough it feels like I'm trying to pull apart a thick rubber band. It's not budging in the least. Why is this so hard? I complain, still trying with all my might. James chuckles behind me, clearly amused by my futile actions. You better learn fast, princess, otherwise you'll starve, he mocks me. I huff at him and drop the reptile back onto the plate. Frustrated that my strength wasn't enough and that James is mocking me, I shoot out a string of thread from my fingertip. The thread pierces the skin like it's melted butter. I wrap it around the head and slice it off in one clean cut. James looks on with interest as I then proceed to grab the head and pull it off its body, spine and all. Ugh, so nasty. I discard the carcass and use my thread again to slice into the reptile, removing its skin to reveal the white flesh underneath. Now I can eat. I'm not starving today, I say triumphantly towards James. James lets out a deep sigh and focuses on his own meal again. He was probably like, that was fucking hot. That was so hot. I use the prong to scrape out the flesh and finally pop it into my mouth. Oh, I say, surprised at the taste as the flesh melts onto my tongue. Expecting it to be flavorless, I'm happy to find out it tastes a lot like regular fish. And then I throw all my manners out the window and dig in. I'm hungry and this actually pleases my palate. All these new flavors and textures are scratching an itch I've had for a long time. A month on a spaceship eating tasteless food has been much more soul-sucking than I thought. Now my taste buds can experience all kinds of new foods. I'm surprised that they all don't taste bitter like that root I have to keep chewing on. It's mostly savory, sprinkled with earthy spices. In no time, I devour everything on my plate, finishing it off with a splash of cool water. People in the hall finally quiet down again. The mood changes from joyful to serious. Don don don. Veritas has risen his hand up in the air. A command, perhaps. Captain James, report, he says in a quiet voice. James pounds his chest to dislodge a piece of meat before he clears his throat to speak. The journey to planet HX-108 went smoothly, taking us no longer than a little over one full noon. Is noon a month, maybe? Since we took a month in the spaceship to come back. As we've seen from the scans, the planet was covered in mostly water. My ears perk up. He's explaining his mission to Earth. I guess HX-108 is their name for Earth. Parts of the planet were populated, but did not respond to any of our communications. Less news to me. The Earthlings didn't seem to pose a threat, so we fired a warning missile. The immediate response was a primitive attack on our ship. I scoff loudly. Primitive, he calls us. I attempted to negotiate, but it resulted in being hit by lightning. While the Earthlings may seem primitive with no technology, they do seem to possess strange abilities of their own. Way to go, Kane. You launched a direct hit on him. Wounded myself, I ordered the troops to retreat. Suddenly, everyone starts murmuring amongst themselves. They don't sound too happy. Coward, grumbles one of them. Should have stayed and fought, says another. With our retreat, I managed to secure our bargaining chip for the future. James starts again in a louder voice to drown out the others. He gestures to me. I took the Earthling Princess. I glance to my left and right, feeling everyone's eyes on me. I'm the center of attention, or should I say, the conquest. People start cheering. The Princess, they joust. A good prize, very good. I believe with the Princess as our bargain, we can attempt to force HX-108 to surrender and seize control. My eyes somewhat bulge out. He wants to take Earth. Wait, not only that, he wants to return. What does that mean for me? Am I returning to Earth as well? Please let it be so. In 3 Nanoons we return to Earth, and this time we'll claim it as our own. Yule will be prosperous. Lord Veritas' reign will prevail, he announces. Yeah! The crowd cheers. Lord Veritas! The chanting begins. I gaze down at my empty plate. I know what I heard right now was a war cry. They want to conquer Earth, but all I can think about is I might be going home after all. A day after that grand speech about seizing Earth and whatnot, I am forced to report to the infirmary. Princess Valkii, you are looking more energized than yesterday. Bilious greets me. Well, I finally had a bath and ate some food, I explain. Did you take the tea? I made very sure to drink the tea so I won't spontaneously burst into flames, yes. Good. Healer! Someone charges into the room, screeching at the top of his lungs. Bilious gets up from his seat and briskly walks over to the frazzled soldier. To be fair, I don't think she has to be a healer anymore. She has a use now that works towards his goal. And the goal is taking over Earth. She is necessary in bargaining for Earth. Wouldn't they go back there anyway? I don't know. Bilious gets up from his seat and briskly walks over to the frazzled soldier. It appears his arm is... Oh no, it's broken. Captain James broke my arm during training. Please fix it, he says desperately. Bilious says nothing at all, but starts handling the soldier with care. He quickly examines the damage, touching here and there with his hands, all the while carrying a serious expression. Yeah! The soldier cries out in pain when Bilious presses down on a particular sore spot. Please relax, he says. Then his hands begin to glow a strange light blue, spreading onto the soldier's arm. With one swift movement, Bilious cracks the bone back into place and the arm looks completely normal again. The soldier blinks at it and clenches his hand into a fist a couple of times, swinging around his arm to test it out. Aha! Excellent! Healer Bilious really is the greatest, he says in awe. Honestly, I'm super impressed as well. Did he really fix the broken bone just like that? I wonder what his healing capabilities really are. I didn't see him do anything special when he was working on James's back. This time, however, he definitely used some special ability. Take it easy for today. No heavy lifting, Bilious says in a serious tone. Yes, yes, says the soldier, and he happily skips out to the infirmary. Once he's left, I turn to Bilious. Is it normal to have soldiers come in for broken bones? I ask. If you're wondering whether Prince James injuring soldiers is commonplace, then your intuition is correct. My eyes widen. That sounds awful. Bilious's face doesn't change. Soldiers get injured all the time during training. It's not my job to question it, only to heal. Well, you seem to do a good job at that, I know. He shyly looked away, surprised I complimented him. It's a little funny to see his serious demeanor change to something more demure. Perhaps you can assist me on site at the training ground sometime. I definitely wouldn't mind a change of scenery, I say with a smile. For the rest of the day, Bilious teaches me how to add a cast to someone's broken arm, in the case his ability isn't able to fix it. It seems even he has limits. A couple of days pass. I had someone instruct me that there were restrictions on my freedom of roaming around the palace. Can't leave the palace, can't step anywhere near Veritas' private chambers, which is comprised of an entire stretch of land, and I already forgot some of them. The restricted areas should be easy to spot, though. They're guarded by their entrance. As long as I'm wearing the armlet, I can go nearly anywhere else. Just as I enter the hallway, I see Lana's head disappear at the other end. Oh, I should say hi. Lana, I call out, hoping she hears me. I start jogging up to her, but she's too quick. However, when I reach the end, there's no trace of her left. I'm confused. Where did she go? I didn't imagine it, right? I sigh loudly. Fine, I guess I'll just head back. Except something else catches my attention, the sound of birds chirping. That's the first time I've heard an animal noise in this palace, and it intrigues me so much. I follow the chirps. Pretty. Soon I come across an open area leading into a garden. Wow, look at all that plant life. Whereas the desert I had seen on the outside of the palace had been barren, this garden was the complete opposite of that. Lush with greens and various other vibrant colours from all the flowers and bushes, it feels like I've stepped into another dimension. There's a water fountain spread across the garden, supplying water to all the plants around. It's so gorgeous. I stand in front of a particularly large plant. It looks like a yellow bell. Oh, it smells super sweet. I lean in to take in the scent. No, get away from there. I don't know who's talking. It's probably Lana. I turn to face the voice, but I'm caught off guard when suddenly the bell-shaped plant releases a vine from its open mouth and lashes my hand with it. I shriek and jump back, protectively holding my hand against my chest. The plant jiggles around and goes back to staying stationary. Ouch, it gave me a cut across the top of my hand. It stings. I look around to see where the voice came from and suddenly see a mini Veritas rapidly approaching me. Oh, it's not, okay. Let me see, he says in a concerned tone, his glimmering eyes focused on my hand. Awkwardly, I show him my hand. It's starting to really throb by now. Wait, is it poisonous? Please, hold still, he says in a gentle voice. This is going to sting a little. He deftly plucks a leaf from a nearby bush, pushes it into his mouth, and chews on it a little. With a feather-light touch, he lifts up my hand to his face. He then spits out the chewed-up leaf and presses it against my cut. Ah, I gasp when it stings even more. Sorry, he immediately apologizes, but we need to extract the poison, so bear with it. And just like that, I clamp my mouth shut. Don't approach strange alien plants. Got it. I should treat everything like it's a death trap. I'm gonna be okay though, right? I ask with a nervous giggle. He shoots me a smile as he continues to dab the leaf onto my wound. Don't worry, it's only a few more seconds, and that should work. No side effects either. I guess I wandered into the wrong garden. You certainly did, because no one is allowed to enter here besides me. He says this in such a cheerful voice that I have a hard time telling whether he's sarcastic or not. He removes the leaf from my wound and I pull my hand back. It doesn't sting anymore. Thank you, I say, appreciating his help. But were you serious? I shouldn't be here. He chuckles lightly. Completely forbidden to. Oh, well. But I can tell you're new. Everyone knows they're not allowed to enter my garden. Strict orders from my brother. I noticed the word brother here and his striking similarities to a certain overlord, so I immediately blurted out. Veritas? Yes, he doesn't want me interacting with the staff. But I'm not the staff, I start to protest. It's okay, I can keep a secret if you can. You know what? Considering he immediately applied first aid and seems to be otherwise very nice, I'll agree to it. Alright, don't tell anyone I've been here. What's your name? He asks me. You don't look like a Gout or Rahu. My name is Valkii. I'm from planet Earth. I'm human, I explain. A human, huh? Well then, you're the first human I've met. Finally, it feels good to hear someone call me a human after being addressed as Earthling for the umpteenth time. Then what's your name? I ask with a smile. Nornus, Prince Nornus, he says politely. Well, Prince Nornus, I say, addressing him correctly, you have a very nice garden here. His eyes well up with pride, the pupils turning into even thinner slits. You think so? He asks, excitement leaking into his voice. Yes, it's very pretty. I mean, a plant did just try to poison me, but that's my own mistake. Do you tend to this all by yourself? I do, yes. It's my own little world, he says in a soft tone. Nornus beckons me to follow him toward the water fountain. Curious, I follow him. Oh, there's a reptile-like bird bathing in the water fountain. It has a striking blue color. It flies away when we get too close. Nornus dips his slender finger into the water. Rings appear from the surface until they start to glow an iridescent green. Silently, I watch as the rings appear faster and grow larger. Then he pulls out a long green stem from the water and presents it to me. It grew into a golden flower. Wow, the petals are really shiny gold. I gasp in response, and Nornus shyly looks down at the ground in response. You can have it, he says. Eager to accept it, I'm about to take it from him, but I stop midway. Is it poisonous? I ask. He smiles timidly. No, I don't wish to harm you. That's probably the nicest thing anyone has said to me since I arrived here. I've been miserable all this time, but this stranger, who apparently doesn't even know I'm a prisoner, treats me with kindness I've been missing. Eok has been nice to me too, but I haven't seen him since the day I arrived here. Even Bilius hasn't been this hospitable towards me. So I can't help but have my eyes water up in response. I feel like crying. Nornus pulls the flower back, his eyes wide. Oh no, are you having an allergic reaction? I quickly wipe away any forming tears with my hands. No, I'm sorry about that. I quickly apologize. It's just... I'm happy you're being so nice to me. He looks a little confused at my reaction. Perhaps he doesn't know what crying is. I don't really want to explain it, though. I feel silly for tearing up. Thank you. It's very lovely. I'd love to have it, I say, stretching out my hand to the flower. I'm about to accept the flower until a strong gust of wind makes it go flying out of Nornis's grasp. You wretched pest, I hear someone bellow. I instinctively freeze up as James lands in front of me. You are in the royal garden, he advances on me. You are trespassing. You are engaging with the royal prince. I shrink in response to him enunciating each word with venom. He's seriously mad. You are going to be... Prince James, don't be mad, Nornis whines as he grabs James's arm. I asked her to come here. Please don't punish her. He pauses, his eyes shifting over from me to Nornis. It seems he doesn't quite believe what Nornis is saying, but I keep my mouth shut. I don't want to anger him even more. No, I'm just gonna... I don't feel like I have enough screenshots. Regardless, Prince Nornis, you shouldn't engage with our guests. You know the rules, James says with a sigh. Nornis looks crestfallen. I know. There's a rule where he can't talk to people? Wait, now he's the one being scolded. I can't let him take the fall for me. Actually, I start, but Nornis quickly jumps in front to cut me off. Why don't you take her back to her room then? He asks James in this nervous voice. Very well. Please take care. James deftly bows in front of Nornis. Then all attention is back on me. You, he growls. Follow me. Nornis gives me an apologetic look and I smile back at him. James remains quiet as he takes me back to my room. Perhaps he's seething inside, or perhaps he is an unfeeling machine. Who knows what he's thinking. James takes a small round device out of his belt. He looks at it while we walk. You may be able to roam the palace, but don't forget that I know where you are at all times, he warns me. I'm going to take another screenshot because I feel like I'm behind. And the royal garden is definitely off limits. No one told me, I defend myself. You didn't either. I finally managed to catch a glimpse of the device and see a map of the palace covered in several coloured dots. James quickly puts it away when he sees I'm looking at it. I'll check with the servants to confirm whether they told you, or if you just have brain damage. Brain damage? I gasp, astonished. Your earthling body is frail and weak. You've already got a new cut since the last time we spoke. James looks at the cut on my hand. I pull it out of his view. That doesn't mean I have brain damage. I'm perfectly rational and my memory is fine. That's debatable. He's so damn rude. I can't stand him. Urgh. Do you think you can manage not to starve without provisions until dinner is served this time? He smirks at me. And do you think you can manage to find your way back without getting lost? I ask in a fake sweet tone. Annoyed, James clicks his tongue at me. You'll eat in your chambers today. You're forbidden from leaving until the servant comes in the morning. I roll my eyes at him. House arrest. Fine. I step towards the doorframe but halt my movement. We haven't spoken since the banquet, but something has been on my mind. A question I've been dying to ask. Are you returning to Earth? I ask. Am I? James keeps quiet. Report to Healer Bilius in the morning. A servant will wake you, he says, ignoring my question. Without another word, James flies off. I sigh out loud, left to wonder whether or not I'll be going home. Alright, I'm not going to start another one. So I will see you next time I play. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.